All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Coach Shawn Witten Show. We got a special edition thanks to the hurricane this week. We're going to be playing on Thursday night as the Cyclones come home tonight to face the big contest for homecoming against the Sullivan East Patriots. I'm Stacy Street along with my partner Tony Briggs. Glad to have Coach Shawn Witten here. Coach, first of all, let's talk about the game last week as the Cyclones traveled down to Anderson County to probably what was one of the most entertaining and hard-fought games that we've seen in a long time, certainly this year. So what's your assessment on Anderson County once you've had a chance to get over the weekend and then kind of look at the tape?
Well, we really going into that week, Stacy, we have really challenged, our football team to kind of take that next step, to kind of rise up, and regardless of where we've gone through and kind of where we've been, that, we still have a lot left to play for, and that we're going to play a program that kind of, a couple of years back is where we were kind of go. They have knocked on several doors, and it's kind of be the third team out, and that this was their best chance, to kind of get themselves back into the hunt. We have guys like Martinez and Val and the way that they are off to a hot start. So just, we had to match their intensity, match their effort and enthusiasm and energy that they're going to have tonight. And if we didn't rise our level of play, that we're going to be in for a long night. So I'm super proud of our guys, just the way that we, overall, we caused a lot of problems for them offensively. We found some rhythm on our offense. Just guys played their tails off, a relentless effort. I thought from a complimentary football, we probably played our best, overall as far as just the effort. We made a ton of mistakes, but it was just made up with, you just couldn't see it because of our effort. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Science Hill game last year at ETSU. Is just the energy and the enthusiasm. We were dialed in on every play. So just proud of our guys, the way that we prepared through the course of the week. Anderson County does a lot. And it's hard to prepare for all of it, but I thought our guys were dialed in and focused, and it really, the way we played is a credit to how we prepared during the course of the week.
Coach, and I mean, we've all sat down there in Greenville, and we all saw the frustration on the players' faces, on our faces, on the coaches' faces, just where you weren't able to do anything. The improvement from the Greenville game to that they didn't look like the same team in Anderson County. You took it to them. You took it to them on offense, stopped them on defense. Special teams played well. It was amazing. That was Cyclone football last Friday night.
Yeah, I think just over the last course of the weeks, Stacy has just become we've early in the year, we're trying to find out who we are. We're moving a lot of pieces around, whether it's good decisions, bad decisions, where guys have kind of, you got to go where guys are comfortable with. But I think just like from an offensive standpoint, moving Whitaker in the interior lineman, we've got a 6-man rotation now. Just, giving guys breaks and a chance to make adjustments. We've kind of settled into, Nate's really given us a great spark at the running back position, and just kind of where we are. And then, we just became a 3-wide, 2-wide, football team. Down the goal line, we mixed in some formations, but we just did a great job. Anderson County had Gavin Novak, which was one of their better players, inserted on defense. So just to be able to perform like that, who would have thought at the end of the night that we would have more rushing yards, more passing yards, and more total yards than Anderson County? We had 23 first downs, just spectacular performance. And then the thing about I liked, Stacy, was we had 3 drives that started on the 20. Our last drive to get us a chance to go ahead, we went from 20 to 20.
Yes, sir.
And Luke Whaley, inserted back in the offensive lineup, has given us a little bit of different rotation at the receiver position. Just a solid, tough football IQ. He scored the first touchdown. Just making some plays, but our offense is continuing to grow. Dry Griffin had a big game, but we threw some balls across the middle. We threw some shallow crossers. It kept us kind of in the game in some moments, and then Dalton started to find some rhythm, and he was able to make some key first downs, and then. We did a better job of, our game plans of taking the shots down the field when we had to, running the football when we had to, Then just the effort by our offensive line and Nate, 183 yards rushing the ball. It's just just a credit to our guys. Just continue to work, continue to find their groove, and it's just a really good feeling when you can play that well.
And we talked about it, and you hit on the big individuals there. Nate Stevens ran so hard, found the holes, got to the outside, got to that next level, and Maupin came in and threw a pass, good. Dalton really got into a good rhythm, and Gerard. It seems like, and we talked about, hopefully, that the Granger game gave them, we kept saying, we hope a little confidence will take them a long way. Do you think that carried over into last week?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think the first series, we had a miscommunication on the check play. We didn't get it pulled, and then we lined up all sides. We got kind of lined up. We just got to do a better job of starting the game. But once we get that one series where we get some rhythm and get some going, then the next thing we're kind of right at it. And I think that we're doing a better job during the course of the week, just making sure we're, the preparation and the execution, and we're just trying to do a better job and make sure we slow it down, we get the right play, the right formation, the right alignments, the execution part, because we've been so much just behind the chains and then, just trying to grasp for something. So just better job through the course of the week, making sure our communication's right, make sure we know where we're going with the ball, what routes are supposed to be where, and we just settle in on those plays, and I think it's just done a better job for us. And I think too, the quickness with some guys of moving Whitaker inside, just being able to pull alignment, it's got on defensive linemen faster. And I'm gonna tell you something, their 6-man box is pretty tough. I mean, when you add Gavin Noe back at defensive end, it's a 6'2", 225-pound running back play defensive end. It moves another guy to linebacker. Their 6-man box is pretty good. So 2 corners are really good on the outside. They got a really good nickel guy that plays man-to-man on the slot receiver. But just making some plays just gave us confidence. And then just proud of our guys, the way we fought all the way to the end. And then just when we dialed up some plays for some guys, they stepped up and made some plays for us.
Speaking, offensively, we started clicking. On a couple of those outside runs Nate had, the receivers finally started blocking. They started blocking like they was capable of blocking like they did last year. It's contagious. When you agree, once you see the energy get going and the wide receivers start blocking, good things start happening.
Well, I think you could kind of feel it during the course of the game. I mean, you could feel that playoff type mentality. I mean, every play you're on the edge of your seat, kind of looking for what's going to happen. But just big plays down the field. I think Nate had like 10 runs that were 10 yards or more, just getting first downs and moving back. I'm not sure in the first 3 games that we had 23 first downs. So it's just a credit to some guys. I mean, we've been banged up in some areas, and we've inserted Nate back there. Just because Cade's been kind of banged up in some ways, but. Anderson County played a lot of man-to-man, and we just kind of did some things that kind of threw them off there. But our O-lines just continue to work, finding their groove. We're trying to do a great job distributing the ball, but you're just dependent on some good people. Nate's a really good player. Getting Luke Whaley back at receivers, a good dependable play. He drew 2 15-yard penalty pass interferences covering there. We were able to pick up some blitzes. I mean, we found Cam Baker on a blitz play down in the red zone. We fit Dry across the middle on a red zone play, and so it's just really good to see, all the hard work kind of pay off and finally help us and get us in our groove.
Now flip over to the defensive side of the ball, and Stacy and I talked about it during the game. It looked like we confused Martinez some. Looked like we was putting a lot of pressure on him. He didn't want to run. He was putting a lot of 3-man pressure, bringing some zone blitz, but it looked like Eli Williams was playing some cat and mouse and really, really confused him a little bit.
Well, we worked hard, as far as when you go against a passing team, Tony, you know this as well as anybody is because we played CAK so much. A good quarterback like Martinez, you got to mix up some coverages, some press coverages. We made him throw the ball lateral quite a bit. They tried to do 34 of their H-back and tight end basically became a non-factor. They couldn't really move the ball with him in the game, so you saw a lot of 3-by-1 doubles. But our 3-man front game, even from Greenville all the way to now, from Daniel Boone to now, our 3-man front, 4 linebacker scheme is just giving guys a lot of problems. And so you just talk about the versatility of guys, just understanding their role, their knowledge. I mean, Eli Williams was now an outside backer. We had Shackles and Holzer. Holzer was playing a new position for the first time, an inside. But we just did a better job of. They didn't know when we were coming. They didn't know we were pressing up. They didn't know the corners did a good job of funneling the receivers in. When they did throw it, we kept it underneath us. We only gave up one big play, a shot play down the middle. So, but other than that, I mean, even in the first half, Val is a dangerous receiver.
Yeah.
His leaping ability, his speed. They couldn't get the ball to him as the X receiver in the boundary, so they had to move him to the field. So overall, we just did a great job. We kept them behind the chains. We kept them guessing. We made him force some throws. And then, Andrew Blevins came up with a great strip sack with the fumble, and we got a great turnover. So just, our defense has been lights out all year long. I think we continue to get problems with our three-man front. I thought Ben Adams played a great game, inserted there with Mason Ball being out. So just keeping guys fresh, get them ready to go. Just when you can limit the big plays, you can do a lot of things on the defense end.
And then, speaking of Ben Adams, watching 44 looked like a little bit of Caleb Johnson last year. His get-off in this game was just so tremendous, just like he was shot out of a cannon.
Well, I think, in years past, we've been so big at the interior alignment, that now we're quicker, we're more explosive. Our blitzes are getting there faster. Our disguise, you can move things a little quicker. And so we're getting into the drops and exchanging the coverage is pretty good. And the thing about playing Anderson County is they get 5 receivers out on about every play. It's just tough. You're talking about an air raid offense that gets the running back involved. Then there's a lot of combination routes to try to stop. So you saw the second half, they kept going to some quick slant routes, but Nate and Teddy were breaking up on it. Where Anderson County is really tough to defend is kind of inside the 10-yard line, where you kind of have to pick your poison, where you're going to load up and go after Martinez. Can you play it? Can you hold up in man-to-man? We just did a great job all game long. We gave up one big play early, and then that was it.
We're not going to let you go.
Yeah.
We're not going to let you go until we talk to you. I thought Tony would be chickened out.
Yeah.
Talk us a little bit through, as you're driving down, you set it up for a field goal, and then you go for it. Tell me what you're thinking right there.
Well, we did a great job of moving the ball down in the field. We had got to the 20-yard line. First we had a critical fourth and inches. Mm-hmm. We got that first down there, and then our first play we ran it, and then our second down play, ball's on the right hash. We had at the 20-yard line, which was set up for about a 37-yard field goal. We had one timeout left, so we practiced this the first week. We run quarterback sweep, put it back at the line of scrimmage, put the ball in the middle of the field. We called timeout with 11 seconds. So it was third down. So we went back out there on third down. The key was for us to kind of, we had set up our offense to kind of hit the field goal, and so it was third down. We had 11 seconds. Could we take a shot to the end zone? If we don't get it, we come back and kick it on fourth down. So it's just kind of the thing about it is the plays we had run up to that point were kind of set up the field goal. And so, when we got to that point, we felt that if we got the look we wanted, we could take it. If we didn't, we could just kind of hit it and then come back and hit the field goal. We ended up not executing the play at the end there. So just a tough decision. You have to put ourselves in. It's a cool night. No wind, no breeze. We thought maybe if we could get it up right there, even if we don't make it, we go in overtime. But it's just kind of a bad decision on my part. Just kind of second guessing myself. Thought that we might be able to get a shot play right there. Come away with an interference or something right there, maybe move us a couple of yards court. Caleb Campbell's a good enough kicker to make that. We're good on PAT and field goal. I think that if we can get that up right there, we got a chance to win it. So just kind of second guess yourself, kind of come back and replay it again. But hopefully we get in that situation again. We can learn from our mistakes. But it's just tough calls to kind of make. And we thought we could get the one-on-one shot that we've been getting all night long. Teddy's our fastest receiver. They got to push down the field a little bit. We kind of thought if we could kind of go up and kind of make a play that we could get interference or kind of come down with it. If not, come back and kick it on fourth down. So, hindsight's 20/20. We probably could have ran the ball, put it in the middle field, kind of ran the clock down a little bit, then called timeout with about 3 seconds left. That way, once he gets the ball up, it times out. So, just some situations there that we got to just be better prepared for at the end of the game.
And don't second guess yourself.
Yeah,
You make those on the field, and certainly don't second guess yourself. When you're sitting there 1-3, you got the number 2 team in the state, and you go for 2. That's a gutsy call, but a lot of things go into that, and you try to win that game.
Well, I mean,
you give it everything.
it becomes tough, you know. I mean, you know, if you go to 2 overtimes, we get the ball first. You know, first off time we got the ball there, they score on the first play. Just what happens is, you know, the game becomes different once the ball's inside the 10-yard line. You know, we've been a really good defense. You know, how do you stop that passing game inside the 10-yard line? How much man-to-man can we go and stop them? So there, you know, you just felt like, we scored on our first play. You know, we had some momentum to kind of go there a little bit. We had done a good job once Nate scored to tie the game up when the ball was on the 3-yard line. You know, Kate had scored with the ball on the 2.5-yard line there. So we thought if we got the right matchup right there, we could kind of push it and kind of go with it. And so, you know, we thought that we, you know, kind of had a play that we had to get ready to go, something that kind of worked earlier in the game, and, you know, we just kind of came up a little bit short. So it's just, you know, it's tough decisions, you know. It's just kind of the way that kind of our season is gone. You know, you want to be aggressive. You want to kind of, you know, give our guys every opportunity to kind of come away with a big win. You know, at halftime we knew that, you know, they were going to make a run. They were going to make a spark right there. But just great effort by our guys. I mean, I think, you know, it's a teachable moments for us. You know, so we know that, you know, we got a lot of football left to play, and we can continue to get better. And you know, now we know, you know, not necessarily what we're capable of, but now we know what we're willing to do. And so I think we got a great team. I think if we can tighten up the screws a little bit, you know, we can be very dangerous here in the final stretch.
Always go for the win. Always go for the win. Went a little long on that first segment, but that game last week, ladies and gentlemen, it justifies that. We're going to go back to this word from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll have a preview of tonight's big homecoming contest against the Sullivan East Patriots. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Coach Shawn Witten Show. Coach, game's moved up an extra day. We're playing here on Thursday instead of Friday. Homecoming against Sullivan East, another chance for us to solidify the second spot to get that home playoff game. What, going into tonight's contest, building off of last week, what do you expect this Cyclone? We'll start on the offensive side of it. What do you think this Cyclone expect from the Cyclone offense?
Well, the biggest thing we've got to do is just try to get off our first and second series. We just got to get off to a little bit better start. So, you know, we've tried to do a better job with some of the things we've done in the past. Is, you know, we've really kind of formed an identity right now. We just got to make sure that, you know, we were going to kind of script the first, you know, 10 or 15 plays like we did towards the last year a little bit, that they know going into the game, you know, here's going to be the first play, the second play, the third play. Just, we got to minimize the mental errors and the mistakes on that first drive. We've always been a team, you know, to kind of, we take the ball at the beginning. We want to be able to establish our identity and kind of push the ball right there. So, you know, we just got to do a better job of getting off to a great start. You know, we feel like, you know, once we get in that third series, that fourth series, we're starting to get that momentum, but we got to get off to a better start to kind of build that confidence up. The other part of us, I think, the Cyclones we got to be better at is just, you know, the hidden yardage on the special teams. I think that, you know, our punts become better. You know, we can do some better things on kickoff coverage. You know, people are making our offense have to drive the length of the field. So I think we're starting to catch the punt returns. You know, we felt like, you know, with Nate and Dry back there on the kickoff returns, we have the ability to get that ball out to the 35 and 40-yard lines. So I just think overall, if we can be better, continue to improve on offense, be better to try to capture the hidden yardage in the special teams, and if our defense continues to play solid like it's been doing, which I don't expect our defense to kind of take a step back at any point. I think that we can really be dangerous moving forward. So just more consistency, more slightly detailed to the execution. One thing that happened to us last week is you start becoming throwing the ball a little bit. We had 2 series where we went 3 and out. You know, when we threw 3 incomplete passes, you know, people don't realize the part of the game is you only run 9 seconds off the clock, and you just can't give good teams the ball back. And so I felt like our defense, early in the year, we've been able to have to run the ball because if you just throw in incomplete passes, our defense is having to turn right around against a good team and go right back out there. So I think we're kind of evolving a little bit. We've kind of got away from our quick passing game to kind of our intermediates kind of working a little bit. So I think one of the things we can do better is if we can get a guy like Nate rolling early, I think Nate's a tone setter. He can really help our offense out early in the game.
And then defensively, we're going up against an East team that loves to chuck the ball. They love to throw the ball. Quarterback's got over 1,100 yards already through 6 games. Coming off of Anderson County, we get to pick up where we're at until next week. Next week is a totally different defensive scheme. But defensively, how much of an edge does that give us defensively coming from the Anderson?
Well, it's one of the few weeks that we play consecutive games where we kind of get the same look. A lot of times we go from a run team to a pass team back to a run team. So we've kind of built off of the things that we did Friday, which I think can give East some problems. So we've worked some different disguises. We've worked some different things that Sullivan East does. But I think the thing with Sullivan East a little bit they get is you're going to get a lot more running back screens. The quarterback tries to it would kind of create a little bit more than maybe Martinez does. He only had that one scramble, which wasn't much, but I just think that it gives us 8 days of practice to kind of build off of a 2-week game plan. So I think we're going to get better at picking up receivers, picking up that intermediate zone from behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. And I think also it gives us another chance to kind of work our pressures. Sometimes when you dial up pressure, sometimes you're going to get there, sometimes you're not. Whether pressure comes from the outside or inside. And we've got to do a better job at times. We got to bring our safeties closer to the box, to make sure we can tighten up the defense. But, I just think that, more consistency, more things that, continuity that kind of filters over from one week to the next, I think it's going to be big for us. And I think you're going to see our defense do a much better job this week. I think we're going to get more tip passes. We're going to see some more interceptions. And I think we may have an opportunity to get some more sacks.
And this last question before we hit Stacy. You've been a former Hokie. We've said on here several times. You've got that passion for special teams. What do you want to see out of special teams play, especially on the kickoffs?
Well,
we hope we don't punt, but let's go on the kickoff.
We've spent a number of time. I'll tell you, over the last couple of weeks, even going into Daniel Boone, Boone had a really good kicker. We spent a lot of time catching punts, not letting the ball bounce, getting up there and catching it, try to make something happen. We did that Friday. I mean, Nate and Dry did such a great job. But when that ball hits, I mean, we probably had a 45-yard hidden yardage by just catching the punts that we had against them. The kickoff returns got to be better. Nate caught the ball one time on the 1-yard line. We only got to the 22. That's just not good enough. And so, I think we can score on some punt returns. I think we can do better on kickoff returns. I think we can do better on kickoff coverage. So, we've got to get guys on there that really have a passion, for special teams that kind of understand and that kind of defines that role. And then if not, we've got to do a better job of making sure we get defensive guys on that understand that, they're going to have to suck it up here in the last month of the season before we head to the playoffs, that, the field position on special teams is going to be big for us. And so, too many times for us as we've tried our struggles on offense, Tony, how many times can you go from 20 to 20, without making mistakes, without turning the ball over? We as good as our defense is, we've got to make teams have to drive the length of the field. And so somewhere along the line, a penalty, a turnover, especially against good teams, can pay off for you.
I'll just ask you a couple of questions so we don't go too long. First of all, this is a big week of distractions. You got homecoming, it's already got its built in. Because of the hurricane, the game gets moved up at the last minute. So how do you adjust to that as coaches and as your team?
Well, I mean, we've done a great job the last couple of weeks. I mean, we've tried to, save a lot of the film study, towards the end of the week. We've tried to get out and get some work in on, on early in the week too, to try to shorten the time that we're out on the field. I mean, we just got to, stick to the basics and, focus on the things we've got to get to. And then I think we've tried to maximize our Thursdays and Fridays of just more film work, more, execution of the game plan, more just understanding the tendencies and the things they're going to do. And I think our guys have done a great job during the course of the week. Is just slowly taking, it day by day. I think a lot of times for us, I sometimes get overwhelmed because there's so much to get in and so much to do. So I think our guys have done a great job. I think really I'm excited about playing tomorrow or about Thursday's game. I just think that getting on the field quicker gives us a chance to be exciting. It gives us a chance to kind of make some more plays. The thing about where we're at on offense, Stacey, is just each week it becomes a different game plan, and so a lot of times defenses shuffling the game plans because you're going against different things, but offense for us is not lining up in this formation doing the same thing. We've got to create a new identity each week of how we're going to get certain people the ball, and so it takes time. It takes a lot of play repetition to make sure we're just going over and over the things that we need to do to try to help us win.
And that puts it on the film too. You could tell Anderson County last week wasn't ready for the offense that the Cyclones had. If we want to try to put something else on there tonight as you kind of go down the road, you're gonna put in what you're gonna put in for tomorrow night.
Well, I think as coaches, we were once players, and so you got to put yourself inside those bodies of those guys, and so as an offensive play caller a little bit, so much early in the year, we're just so much trying to help our defense. We just can't keep putting them back out there on the field, and the easy way to do it is just run the ball. You got to get the clock going, shorten the game, shorten the field. We just can't turn the ball over. Or, hey, defense, you're going right back out there against a really good team, and then they're just getting beamed and banged up. And so for us, we've just tried to do a great job of just dialing up plays. These couple plays go to Gerard. These couple plays go to this guy. And so I just think that, that's helping us out a little bit better. And then, if a guy like Kay can get back to get healthy where he's got the speed and burst, we can start moving him around a little bit like when he was a sophomore. He was the H-back. He was a receiver. He was a running back. And so I just think guys are starting to settle into positions. I think guys like Dalton, that's a senior, Nate's a senior, they're just stepping up. I think adding the other receiver like Luke Whaley's he's a steady, consistent player. You know exactly what you're going to get out of him. So just credit those guys. Getting a guy like Luke back gives a guy like Teddy a break on defense where he can have his speed to go make some plays. I was kind of disappointed a little bit. We missed him twice on 2 deep balls, which he's a guy that can get behind him. So I think, it's a long season. High school football is like 3 seasons. We've been going at this thing a lot of time. We're at the last week of September, so we got another month of regular season. Then we hopefully got a new season starting in the second half. And so I think we really have a shot at this thing, I truly believe.
Coach, thank you as always. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this special edition of the Coach Shawn Witten Show that will be airing on Thursday night as we kick off at 7:30 from Citizens Bank Stadium. Coach Shawn Witten Show will be on at 6:30. Tony and I will be on at 7 then for our pregame as we have a special homecoming game this week against the Sullivan East Patriots. We'll be back after these words from our sponsor.